Why does Kamala Harris keep saying that from day one in the White House, she's going to do this and she's going to do that, stealing Donald Trump's line, no tax on tips? You're in the White House. Why don't you just do it right now? Do it right now. Put your money where your mouth is and do something good for America. Show us some sort of proof that the last 4 years that you've been in office with Joe Biden, that you've done something good for America. Instead of saying from day one when I'm in the White House, you're in the White House, you've been in the White House, and all you've been doing is destroying this country. So Kamala, no one believes you. You're a liar. And just because you're a woman, nobody cares. Nobody cares if you're a woman. Nobody cares if you're Indian or black or any of that stuff. None of it matters. The policies matter. And we haven't seen any good policies come from you. Nothing. All right? That's it. Period.
We've got a sizable motorcade repositioning on Pennsylvania Avenue, so it's possible that it looks like I can see behind the camera. The vice president's vehicles are leaving right now, so it would seem that at least her part in the Situation Room is done. She will now go back to the Naval Observatory.
It was an intense moment for the Commander-in-Chief of the United States of America, and I was in almost every meeting with the President.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that the meeting's over in the Situation Room.
Correct.
We're gonna win. We're gonna win. I mean, not to be, cocky, but I'm optimistic.
I've always been a supporter of, she's a woman, and she's black, and she'll be the first president candidate that I think she will win. And like I said, I'm all about equal access and equal women health choice.
As far as being a command sergeant major, as soon as he retired, or I'm going to go with the term retired, which he did, and he was eligible after 20 years to get a full retirement. He was taken out of the academy at that time. Here's another thing about.
Well, Sergeant Major, I do want to hear that. I do want to hear what you have to say, Sergeant Major. I know I want to be sensitive of your time, and your audio is beginning to break up just a little bit. But I do want to thank you because I think you've clarified a lot for people and given more information. The question now is how the voters will evaluate it. Sergeant Major Doug Julian, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
I should note our show has reached out to the Harris Walls campaign for comment and have not heard back.
Think of this. Every other time the Ku Klux Klan's been involved, they wore hoods so they're not identified. Under his presidency, they came out of those woods with no hoods, knowing they had an ally. That's how I read it. They knew they had an ally in the White House. And he stepped up for them.
Dana, I criticized his lying about his own record, okay? This is a guy who was captured on video saying, I carried a gun in war. He never went to war. This is a guy who's been captured on video. As other people say, he's an Afghanistan veteran. He's a veteran of a war, nodding along in agreement instead of saying, no, I did serve my country and I did it honorably, but I never went to a war zone. I'm not criticizing Tim Walz's service. I'm criticizing the fact that he lied about his service for political gain, Dana. You've now asked me 3 questions about comments that I made 3 years ago. I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she supported policies that opened the American southern border. I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she lied to the American people about Joe Biden's mental facility for the office. You are interviewing me, Dana, because I respect the American people enough to sit down for an interview.
I appreciate that.
Kamala Harris has been the nominee for 3 weeks. She hasn't sat down for a real
interview.
Believe
me, we are asking. You're not going to get a disagreement there.
But the point is, Dana, you've got me for 15 minutes or however long you have me. We should be talking about public policies that matter. How are we going to lower inflation? How are we going to reduce the cost of food and housing? How are we going to close down that southern border? We've talked so little about that. We've talked a lot more about a sarcastic remark I made 3 years ago. I think we should talk about the issues that most Americans care. Kamala Harris is whatever she says she is, but I believe importantly that President Trump is right that she's a chameleon. She pretends to be one thing in front of one audience. She pretends to be something different in front of another audience. Look, Dana, she's not running a political campaign. She's running a movie. She only speaks to voters behind a teleprompter. Everything is scripted. She doesn't have her policy positions out there. She hasn't answered why she wanted to ban fracking, but now she doesn't. She wanted to fund police, but now she doesn't. She wanted to open the border, but now she doesn't. She should have to answer for why she presents a different set of policies to one audience and a different set of policies to another audience. And I think that's what President Trump is getting at. This is a fundamentally fake person. She's different depending on who she's in front of. Dan, I criticize people for not having kids. I criticize people for being anti-child. And I do think that Kamala Harris has made some bizarre statements. She has said things like, it's reasonable not to have children over climate change. I think it's the exact opposite message we should be sending to our young families. I want to expand the child tax credit. I want to stop those surprise medical bills. I want to make housing more affordable so that if you have a young family, you can actually afford to put them in a home. And I think that it is unfortunate that so much of our public leadership has become anti-family. One final point on this, Dana. If you go back to the COVID era, one thing that really frustrated me, please.
Are you going to debate Tim Walz?
Of course. I want to debate Tim Walz. I think it's important. And I think that it goes to a very fundamental difference between the Trump-Vance ticket and our opposition. We believe in talking to the media. We believe in answering questions. We believe in debating. I think it's really important. I mean, look, I'm asking the American people to make me their vice president. It's really important to stand before the American people to make that case. And I'm going to keep on doing it in whatever form I get the opportunity. So
I look forward to it. Thank you so much for sitting down and taking my questions.
Of course. Thank you for coming here.
I didn't accept the letter as anything but a letter. I mean, there are some people who were unhappy with the letter. Let me say, some said that some people were unhappy with the letter. I'll put it in somebody else's mouth because it was I don't even know, it didn't sound like Joe Biden to me. It really didn't. So, but
what's next? The Kamala border wall? That'll be interesting. How about Kamala tax cuts? The Kamala drill baby drill policy? I mean, this is utterly ridiculous. And looking to copy the Trump plan and try to repackage it. But the American people aren't stupid. He's been saying this. And Democrats, in some cases, have even said negative things about it.
Everybody knows this is Trump's idea. He's taken it to the forefront. But look, the media is covering up.
Is beating her in Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Georgia, some crucial states. Joe, when you look at this map, and again, this is from yesterday.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Wins Pennsylvania wins this election. Yeah. Nate Silver said whoever wins Pennsylvania has a 95% chance of winning this election. So as goes Pennsylvania, as goes the election. Nevada is probably a close second. Mm-hmm. And that's where you have a lot of people in the service industry. Obviously, if you've been to Vegas, this is where this particular issue resonates. Kamala Harris now, she is the nominee that stole the nominee from her boss, in essence, right? Mm-hmm. Tim Walz is the stolen valor VP. And now you have Kamala Harris stealing the really, really good idea of Donald Trump. And then the media, I read more, I can't believe the headlines I saw today. Kamala Harris proposes no tax on tips, no context whatsoever around Trump's idea first. So this is the Etch-a-Sketch AI Chat GPT candidate who lives in a teleprompter. This was written for her, obviously. She didn't come up with it on her own. So I want to...
This is the most fake election of our lifetimes. By the way, did you hear Kamala? She was in Detroit, so she had to suddenly become black again. Listen to this.
The thing that we like about hard work is we have fun doing hard work. Thank you to the sisters and brothers of UAW for all you are and all we will do over these next 89 days. God bless you.
Now, her accent gets even better. Cut 3, please.
Hold on. You know what? Here, hold on. Here's the thing. The courts are going to handle that. We're going to beat them in November.
We're going to beat him in November. When does she ever talk like that? When does she ever talk like that? This is what Obama did. They are so incredibly fake. They can't even be their authentic self.